Then Haddon Matrix and understanding of road safety. Is it visible and audible? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Rota?
It's visible.
Yes,
Am I?
yes. We can hear you. Your connection is perfect. Please carry on.
Is having now here human side. The three elements, that is human side, vehicle side, and road side. When these three elements are involved in a road traffic crash, there are three stages. One is before crash. Before crash, what precautions we can take and prevent the road traffic crash? And if after taking all the precautions, unfortunately, if an accident happens, the fraction of seconds, so many things will happen in the vehicle, outside the vehicle, and injury to the passengers in the vehicle or outside the vehicle. So that is how we can reduce the injuries in crash, the fraction of second, that is in second column. And third column is after crash. When we see in the before crash, human side, trainings. If we give proper trainings, road safety trainings, then we can reduce the accidents by taking proper precautions. You see that in this, driver is not able to see anything on the road except the stoplights, etc. In this vehicle, I was traveling in Delhi during the fog, winter season. So many vehicles, they met with an accident, rear end collisions, and they went out of the road because of visibility. So I asked the driver whether you have taken any training in particular IDTR in Delhi on driving in different weather conditions. He said yes. Then I got a confidence that he will take us safely to our destination. That is the reason trainings are required for the safe driving. Education, behaviors, generally behaviors on the roads, If you see in this, who is at fault in this? I think you might have thinking that the fault is with these persons, but it is not. The driver of this vehicle, this is a goods vehicle, driver should not accept the passengers in this vehicle. So he has accepted the passengers, and you see this person is standing on a 2 inches, some small plate, right? If the driver suddenly brakes, he will fall down. Suppose if you are following this vehicle, so what precautions you will take as a defensive action? You have to keep a distance. Suppose if you fell down also, you can take a precaution and stop your vehicle without touching this person. So that precautions we have to take during the driving. So in this, the driver is at fault. And another thing is here, you see how we are utilizing a national highway. The big market is sale and purchase of some animals are going on this national highway. You see how the passengers are traveling in auto and how they are traveling in jeep. These are all different behavioral aspects of the road users. And another thing is clothing. You see, when during the dusk and dawn, we are not visible to the drivers. If you wear a reflective jacket or any bright color clothing, the driver can see you as early as possible. When he is a long distance, he can see you, so that he can take precautions and avoid a crash. Then 3-second rule. When we drive and following a vehicle, we have to maintain some distance. The distance.
Timing is everything. And when you're on the highway, every second counts. We usually think stopping in terms of space, but what really matters is time. It takes about 1.5 seconds to notice a potential risk in front of you, and another 1.5 seconds to react, hit the brakes, and slow down. So you want to give yourself at least 3 seconds between the car in front of you and your vehicle. To measure, wait for the car ahead of you to pass a set object. Tree, road sign, light pole, any clear marker will do. After it passes, start counting. 1001, 1002, 1003. If you reach that same object before you reach 3, you're too close. Of course, this 3-second baseline is right for a car in normal driving conditions. Driving in bad weather, add 1 more second. Driving an SUV, add another second. If you're driving a commercial vehicle, it's got to be at least 6 seconds. So don't forget the 3-second rule. And don't forget to share the safety with your friends and family.
Was it audible and visible, that 3 seconds video?
Yes, it was.
Okay, thank you. Then safe distance. This is the most important slide in road safety. You know, same we have seen how to maintain the distance between front vehicle and our vehicle, and in this, you see how a driver has to concentrate on the driving. Suppose you are all driving this car with 100 kilometers per hour speed. You know, suddenly you have seen one person or pedestrian or somebody on the road. What comes into your mind? Just think in your mind. What comes into your mind? Somebody may be thinking that we need to apply brake. Somebody might have thinking we have to horn. Not that. First, what comes into mind is you have to stop the vehicle before him. But when you are alert only, you can do that. Here, first, what is your action? First action is you will remove your pedal feet from accelerator and then keep it on brake. By this time, it happens 1 to 1.5 seconds. For normal person, it happens 1 to 1.5 seconds. It is called thinking time, and the distance traveled during this is called thinking distance. You know, 100 kilometers per hour speed vehicle, without applying brake, it traveled around 42 meters. Just you have removed your foot from accelerator and kept it on the brake. Now you will apply the brake. When you apply the brake, it won't stop suddenly, right? It travels some distance, right? That distance is called braking distance. That 100 kilometers per hour speed, it takes minimum 66 meters. That also we have seen in the previous video. That depends on the size of the vehicle and the road condition and your brake condition. All these factors will consider. This is a normal car we have taken, and we're thinking that 100% braking efficiency, and the road is normal tar road. So it needs around 108 meters distance to stop the vehicle without touching it. We will see one video. What happens if suddenly a vehicle comes in front of a vehicle? Here you see suddenly this vehicle has come. There is no space to brake and stop this vehicle, right? So ultimately it has crushed another vehicle which has come in front of vehicle suddenly. So that safe distance we have to observe. And another thing is, in my opinion, there is no profession which needs this much attention. Can anybody tell, is there any profession this much attention required in their profession? Except driver, no other profession, because every fraction of second, the scene on the road changes. Some vehicle comes, some vehicles overtakes you, some pedestrian comes, sometimes animal comes. Every second, the scene changes. We see how the behavior on the roads.
जयपुर शहर में ट्रैफिक लगातार बढ़ता ही जा रहा है। सड़कों पर छोटी बड़ी गाड़ियों की रेलम पेल तो देख ही रहे हैं आप। तो इस ट्रैफिक में सड़क पार करने के 2 तरीके होते हैं। ये है पहला तरीका, जरा गौर से देखिएगा। जल्दी 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 जल्दी। और अब ये है दूसरा तरीका, जल्दी 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 जल्दी।
You see in this video, the dog is crossing with dignity and without any fear when all the vehicles are stopped at the signal. And you see, after coming here on island, it will stop again. Here it stopped because the other side, the traffic is going.
पहले दाएं बाएं देखो, ट्रैफिक के रुकने का इंतजार करो, भले ही इंतजार थोड़ा लंबा सही, और जब ट्रैफिक रुक जाए तभी सड़क।
After stopping the traffic in that direction, the dog again it is crossing safely. But how human beings cross the road, we will see in this. Here, what we observed is the careless attitude of the pedestrian. And second thing, as a defensive driver, when the driver is approaching nearby village or town or any places where pedestrians are supposed to cross or pedestrians are moving around, then he has to reduce the speed and he is ready to stop the vehicle. If he goes a less speed, then he will stop suddenly. And another thing is blind spots. When you're traveling on a multi-lane road or a two-lane road, when you are changing a lanes, you have blind spots just besides you. Blind spot means you can't see these vehicles in your side mirrors. It will miss from the rear view mirror. When it is somewhere here, it will show in your rear view mirror and side view mirror. But when it is in this triangle areas, it will not visible in side mirrors. So what you have to do is just you have to see the over the shoulder in a fraction of a second. If you see over the shoulder, it will be visible. And when you want to change the lanes, just you give an indicator, then stop for 5 seconds, wait for 5 seconds, and then try to move slowly into another lane after observing side mirrors and over the shoulder. That is the safest way of changing the lanes. These are the human sides. And vehicle side, ADAS, advanced driver assistance systems, which are helping to avoid the traffic crash. There are so many, right? Lane departure warning, then frontal collision warning, then electronic stability control. These are all helps us.
An electronic stability control system, commonly referred to as ESC, helps the driver maintain control of a vehicle during extreme maneuvers. When the system detects that a difference is occurring between a vehicle's motion and the driver's input, the system activates preventative measures that keep the vehicle moving in the intended direction. Here's how it works. A spin-out occurs when a driver steers a vehicle too much in a direction for the speed of the vehicle. As a result, the rear of the vehicle may lose traction and spin out of control. Electronic stability control technology recognizes the problem and electronically applies braking to one or more wheels, in this case, the outer front wheel, to counteract the oversteer. During an understeering or plow-out event, the vehicle enters a turn at a speed that is too fast for the turn. This results in the vehicle losing traction and not being able to make the turn. Electronic stability control technology will automatically detect the understeer and apply braking to one or more wheels, in this case the rear wheel, to counteract the understeer.
I think you might have observed in this understeer and oversteering. Understeer means whatever amount required to steer to negotiate the curve with the speed of the vehicle. If you steer less, that is called understeer, and if you steer more, that is oversteer. Both conditions are prone for road traffic crash. You will go out of the road and loses control. To avoid that, electronic stability control will take care of it. And similarly, lane departure warning. When you suppose if you have fatigue and you are going to sleepy and the vehicle is going out of the lane, then automatically it will come into the lane, and frontal collision warning. Suppose you are going near to the front vehicle, it will automatically the brake will getting applied and the vehicle will slow down and it will maintain the distance with the front vehicle. All these features, it has come in Mahindra XUV 700. I think most of you know very well. Then ABS, anti-lock braking system. How it works. We'll see.
Let's have a look at the ABS benefits in practice. Full braking at 100 kilometers per hour.
You see, when you apply brake, suddenly the wheel got locked completely. So there is no rotation. When there is no rotation of the wheels, front and back, then the vehicle cannot be steered. When the rotation is there, then only the vehicle can be steered in any direction. So what happens, the anti-lock braking system, it will sense the locking of the wheel and it automatically releases the brakes and the wheels will rotate and you can steer in the direction. That's the function of anti-lock braking system.
With ABS, the braking distance is significantly shorter and the vehicle remains stable. Full braking in a curve. Without ABS, should the wheels lock while applying full brakes along a curve, the vehicle can no longer be steered and slips out of the curve. With ABS, you have the vehicle under control and you can steer systematically. Full braking and swerving. Should the braking distance not suffice, the driver must swerve to evade the obstacle. Without ABS, the vehicle cannot respond to the driver's steering attempts. With ABS, your vehicle remains steerable and stable. A collision is thus avoidable. Full braking on different surfaces. Traction on lanes may vary due to volatile weather, dirt, and foliage. When fully applying brakes without ABS, the vehicle can quickly become unstable. With ABS, the vehicle remains stable, even in this situation, with an optimal braking distance.
Tanmay, is it audible and visible? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. We can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
It
Thank
is.
you. Now we have seen about ABS. Now in India, ABS is compulsory for all the vehicles, and even for motorcycles also it made compulsory. Then misuse of the provisions available in the motor vehicle. You see, the rear view mirrors are provided to see the traffic which is following us or beside us. But the person, he made the mirrors to see his face. This causes a distraction to that rider. So one is distraction and another is he can't see the traffic besides him and following traffic. So it may happen anything. So we should be careful. Then vehicle side, these are all technology is improving, and so that we can avoid a road crash. A road side, we have different IRC codes. IRC means Indian Road Congress codes. How do we lay the roads and what are the guidelines and what are the standards to be maintained on road laying. Then road safety audits, road geometry, etc. plays a major role on the roads. You see, this is the turning. Turning visibility problem is maximum. When you enter into the turning, you have to slow down your vehicle. We have seen electronic stability control, how it controls understeering and oversteering in the turnings. Understeering means suppose this vehicle is going in this direction. If you do not rotate the steering as per speed and this turning, understeering is steered less, the vehicle goes straightly towards this direction. And if it is oversteered, then then it may go in this direction. So these two conditions may happen. Another third condition is you may lose control and hit the oncoming vehicle. You'll go in this out of control and go right lane and met with an head-on collision with other vehicles. So what we have to do is we have to enter slowly in the turning and negotiate the turning, and after getting out of the turning, again you have to increase the speed. That is the reason all turnings, the speed limit will be less than the other areas. Then roadside, all roads should be road safety audits should be conducted if there is any accident spot. Traffic calming means the slowdowning of traffic with road construction. Like speed breakers, but not only the speed breakers to reduce the speed. There are another so many types of constructional designs are there to slow down the traffic. Those methods can be also used where the traffic slow down is required. So we have taken all the precautions before crash to avoid a road traffic crash. But unfortunately, if a crash happens, what we have to plan is the injury should be very less, and there should not be a loss of life. For uh, motorcycles, what we have to do is motorcycles we have to wear an helmet. We will see how the helmet protects
This is
us.
the helmet of a rider who crashed on a motorcycle. The damage you can see occurred during the accident. Fortunately, the rider wasn't fatally injured. But had he not been wearing his helmet, potentially fatal head injuries could have occurred. The helmet saved the rider's life by
You see,
taking
the
the
direct
force of
hit
the
was
impact.
on head.
How does a helmet protect a rider from serious injury in an accident? Let's take a look at the construction of a helmet. The hard outer cover is called the shell. The inside is comprised of an impact-absorbing styrofoam liner and interior padding. The shell has the important job of protecting the rider's skull and scalp from injury. But protecting the skull and scalp does not necessarily save a rider's life. The skull contains the brain, the most important of organs. The brain is very delicate. A strong impact can injure the brain, even though it was not damaged directly. Let's see how this can happen in a test. Take a plastic container full of material as soft as the brain and drop it. The plastic container is undamaged, yet the material inside has been smashed. This is how the brain can be injured, even though the skull and scalp are undamaged. The helmet uses its impact-absorbing styrofoam liner to protect the brain. Let's see how this liner works. Think of this egg as your head. First, let's place the egg in a container so that it is in direct contact with the container bottom, and put a lid on it. Drop the container from shoulder level, and you will find the egg has broken.
You see, egg is having life, right? We know everyone. Suppose if it is hatched, it will give a life, but it lost life.
Repeat the experiment, but this time put a styrofoam pad under the egg and drop it from the same height. The egg remains unbroken, even if the styrofoam pad has been slightly dented. The dent may appear minor, but in fact, in that instant of less than 1/100th of a second when the impact occurred, the styrofoam absorbed the impact force, saving the egg from damage. This demonstrates the incredible protective power of a helmet's liner. But now that the styrofoam has absorbed one impact, will it be able to protect the egg again? This time the egg broke. This is because the first impact compromised the structural integrity of the styrofoam. Likewise, once a helmet suffers a strong impact, the styrofoam liner will be weakened, even if the outward appearance of the helmet and liner appear normal. Imagine what could happen to you if you use a helmet that looks okay, but has actually suffered impact damage. Also, make sure your chin strap is fastened securely. If it isn't, your helmet may be thrown off during a collision or a fall. Once again, please be sure to wear a helmet and have your chin strap fastened firmly whenever you ride.